Hey everybody, I am Haley Gray and I'm the group owner here in the Women's Entrepreneur Network. I hope that you are having an amazing week. So I work with a lot of small business owners. I work with small businesses doing social media. I work with them doing search engine optimization, funnels, ads, all of the digital marketing stuff, and a lot of marketing strategy behind it, a lot of marketing strategy that goes into the whole digital marketing thing. If you're on the live, give me a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay and let me know that you are out there. Tonight's topic is talking about the social part of social selling and selling on social media. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because selling on social media is like so much harder for a lot of people to kind of get some of these concepts. And I think that there are so many things out there that are being taught from a social media perspective that are absolute positive bupkis. And I'll give you an example. I had some willy-nilly dingbat who went down, and I get these all the time, but this one was one of my favorites. I've had a few of these dingbats, and they'll start posting on my personal profile, hey, I can help you make money with Bitcoin and Ethereum and blockchain. And, frankly, all of those are scams. But anyway, somebody might help you make money with it. And they go down my entire thread that I had started. And was talking about my son being accepted to college. And they're like, hey, let me know if you want to help making money on blockchain. And oh, by the way, here's my WhatsApp. And they went and posted it all up and down my profile. My other favorite one are the witch doctors that are offering to help me bring my ex-lover back into my life. It's a really, really awesome kind of thing. And hey, Patty, good to see you. Welcome. So, when you see this kind of like random ass spamming, up and down, and people will come into Women's Entrepreneur Network all the time. And I've even had people spam me while I'm live. So there's this like whole element of people trying to make a buck and they don't understand why it's not working. Raise your hand if you have ever encountered that. Hey, Susan, good to see you. Hey, Tish, good to see you. Hello. So we're going to talk, about what do you do instead, because social media can be hella frustrating. And the things that we did 3, 4, 5 years ago are frankly going to land you into Facebook jail hotter than you can say the words Facebook and jail together. Oh, yeah. Tish, I get those too. I get the messages with people saying, hey, you've got such a cute profile. Would you like to be my friend? I sent you a friend request or I sent you a message. I'm like, yeah, right. No, you didn't. And they'll be like, can you please send me a friend request? Yeah, no, jump off a bridge. And sometimes I'll offer to accept their friend request if they'll let me Facebook Live it to my group, which I figure you guys would be really entertained by. But, seriously, there's these people who come into Women's Entrepreneur Network because they're like, hey, this is a networking group. Hey, I can just spam the group. And they don't even see it as spamming. They just see it as, hey, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to promote my business, and I'm going to make some money. And any of y'all who have ever done much in this group know that promotional posts in Women's Entrepreneur Network tend to fall to the bottom of the group, never to be seen again, faster than an anchor cut off of a boat and just like dropping into the great depths of the beyond, of the wild blue sea. Seriously, it goes down like, because we are so conditioned as humans to ignore promo, to ignore the whole like ads things. You know, how many of you guys really notice all the Facebook ads that are showing up on Facebook? So there's other ways to be really social on social media and still get those sales. So what am I talking about? So if you're being social on social media and building your sales, that's where it's at. So what is being social on social media? It is for me to go through after this call and message Patty and Susan and Tish and say, hey, how are things going with you? Touching bases with them. If I haven't touched bases with them in a while, then maybe, hey, you get onto a call with them, you know, if the timing is right, right? And then you can go from there to call, to building that know, like, and trust factor, to selling them into, you know, hey, buy my makeup, or, you know, here's my products and services. And it's a process. You're building a sales funnel around social media. You build your platform, people get to know you. Once they start coming out of the woodwork, I message Patty and I say, hey, Patty, how are things going? Can I help you with anything? Maybe we hop on a call at some point in the future and she decides to buy from me. Or I hop onto a call with Susan and she decides to buy from me. Or I hop onto a call with Tish and she decides to buy from me. And it's a beautiful thing where you start interacting with people and building those relationships. And that's how you get those social sales. You know, you look for people who are interacting with your posts. Maybe you start a post talking about something. You could, if you were a CPA or a financial person, you could talk about tax planning for the year and ask people who has done their tax planning or what their best tax planning strategies are. And, you know, you're going to find some people who are going to have tax planning strategies, and you're going to have a lot of people that are going, what? What do you mean I need to have tax planning strategies? Or what do you mean I could avoid having to pay additional taxes, or I could save $30,000 or $50,000 a year in taxes? And there's lots of things that you could do by just starting conversations. And if you have really good conversations with people in a thread, then you can take those offline via private message or text or email and, you know, get those people onto a call eventually to have like a real conversation. And thank you. And Susan says, yes, I have set a reminder in Asana to catch up with people on Messenger every week or two because it's so easy to get distracted in the middle of convos on Messenger. Yes. You know, and a lot of people think that this whole, like, I have a system for following up with people, and you can do it with Asana, you can do it with Trello, you can do it with ClickUp, you can do it with Entreport, you can do it with most CRM systems, you could even do it in Excel. You know, these are my people that I follow up with the middle of the month, and these are the people that I follow up at the end of the month. And there's lots of ways to set those reminders to follow up with people and have conversations with them. And, you know, the really cool thing is that the more you stay top of mind with people, the more conversations you have, the more likely they are to be able to refer to you and you be able to refer to them and build relationships, because that's where the power really starts to come in. Now, I mean, there's a few different business owners here watching tonight, and I know that. So Susan's business model is going to be a little bit different from Tish's because Susan does consulting and really helps hone in on the 5 business questions and business planning and helping you put together, you know, what your business corporate culture is, and asking and honing in on those things in your business. And it's really, really awesome. And the way that she is going to connect with people is going to be a bit different than how she connects with Tish, or that Tish connects with her people, right? Because Tish is selling, you know, skincare and makeup and those kinds of things. So her businesses, their businesses are going to be a bit different, and the follow-up is going to be a bit different. So, you know, we want to, you really work on connecting with people in real life. And Susan says, I'm getting life coaching from Haley. Yeah, if you guys have questions, let me know, like seriously. And, but Susan is an amazing person and she has an amazing service that she offers and she is helping you avoid a lot of pitfalls. Now, Charlene's name isn't showing up here, but Charlene is the fractional CMO and the CMO guru. And she is going to be your chief marketing officer, and she is going to help you put together that plan and that funnel and doing a lot of those things in your business and getting those sales in your business. Because if you don't have sales, you don't have a business, right? So each of you is going to have a different nature of your business, but what is not different about each of your businesses? And, Patty is working with athletes and their parents, right? So each of you is going to have a different business, but it doesn't remove the need to have those relationships with people, to have those conversations with people. And the more of those conversations that you have with people, the more of those relationships that you're building with people, the better. And, true that, no sales, no biz. It's just a really expensive hobby. So, all of us who are of the business minded here on this thread are going, yeah, you've got to have sales to keep the lights on, or in my case, the ring lights. And you've got to, make money in your business. You can only take it as a tax deduction for so long. That would be a question for either Susan or Joe, depending on how you're trying to work it. And maybe even Michelle Campbell. So, you want to think about connecting with people on social media. So what are some really other good ways to do it, to kind of warm up the waters? So one of the things that I have found that works really well, if I'm trying to get people from out there to in here to actually noticing me, to connecting with me, to interacting with me, there's a few things I do. So obviously I have Women's Entrepreneur Network. I post a lot. We post several times a day in this group and we start conversations with people. And I try to go through and comment on people's posts in this group. By interacting with people, when they interact with me, it makes people feel like I actually give a care. And I do. I just don't always get to interact with people as much as I want, because sometimes I'm in the back dealing with some of the technicalities that involve running a Facebook group this size. But, interacting with people, commenting on people's responses when they've commented on your post and having conversations is a really great way to start. Yeah. And Patty says, I'm experiencing several conversations before converting to sales, like I've mentioned before many times. Exactly. And people will go through this process with sales, which is part of the challenge, which is they go from out here, they circle around very quietly, and they won't even interact with your posts. They won't like, they won't comment, they won't do anything. Stage 2 is where they will like your posts or they'll react to your posts, but they may not comment on your posts. And then stage 3 is when they're actively commenting on your posts. So I'm curious with Susan and Charlene and Tish and Patty, have you experienced like some of those different like phases where you can tell that there's people out there? Like I can tell that there's people watching me. There's more people watching than there are people actually commenting on my lives. And then we go from, okay, so there's some people who interact, and then there's some people who will start to have conversations with me on the lives, and then maybe I can get them into Messenger and we can have conversations. It's like going from, home base to first base to second base to third base. And sometimes you can hit a home run really fast. And sometimes you have to go back and forth between the bases a bit in order to get people around and to actually score. And it's all part of the process. It's part of your funnel. It's part of your sales process in building things. That is a lot of why I do what I do. It's a lot of why I teach my mastermind. So what we're doing in my mastermind is that talking about these phases. So tonight we were talking about sales funnels and what sales funnels are and sales funnels aren't. Yeah. And this is a good point, right, Tish? Once in a blue moon, you get a lot of interactions. So this is a really awesome point. One of the things that you're going to find with social media is that once in a blue moon, I get a live where I get a ton of people interacting with me because people happen to be home, the moon was full, the stars aligned, Mercury wasn't in retrograde, I don't know what. And you start to see all the pieces and parts. And you have to kind of test and see what people are going to react to, what your particular audience is going to react to, and how things are kind of working with your audience. And there is a huge deal of experimentation that happens when we're doing social media posting. So when I'm doing social media posting for clients, one of the things that I am doing is checking and seeing how people are actually reacting, what they're doing with certain posts, what they're not doing with certain posts, how things are working. And I dare say that there's very few things that work 100% according to plan on the first go. They just don't. Sometimes I can start to predict what's going to get reactions and what's not for my own audience, and then sometimes for a client's audience. But when we are first getting started, sometimes it takes a while to find a cadence. It takes a while to discover the client's exact voice. It takes a while to develop that voice and that cadence and that audience and start bringing people in. It's not super complicated. And, you know, we're really trying to find what the audience that we want is actually responding to. And it does take some trial and error. So I agree with you with the once in a blue moon. And then once you start getting a little bit more lucky with your hits, you know, the more hits you take, the more likely you are to get lucky, the more likely you are to start using your platform to get clients. And it also is, there's another factor, Tish, is as people know you better, the more they're going to react to you. And you kind of have to feed them and water them to keep them interacting with you. So Patty says a potential client's parent is commenting on my post. A few people are watching my lives and you don't know who they are. Yep, exactly. Two strangers liked your post last week and you've never met them. Exactly. And two people liked your Facebook business last week. You've never met them before. And that's how the organic growth starts to happen on social media, is people kind of start to know who you are. You've been out, you've gotten seen, you've gotten viewed, and people really start to kind of appreciate a bit about who you are and what you're doing. And, you know, the more you're interacting with people, the more you get out there, the more people are going to start finding you and they're going to start gravitating towards you. And the more out there you are. And you're going to find that you're going to get more of those kind of random people that you've never met before. And I will say, I've had some really, really funny incidences where people have walked up to me that are complete and total strangers and started talking to me like they knew me, and I had never seen them before in my life. And it took me a minute or two, honestly. I was a little bit taken aback, and it was really, really confusing. And once I started figuring out who they were and they introduced themselves to me, I was like, oh, I actually know who you are. But sometimes when you're doing a lot of lives like I do, you get people who walk up and they'll just start having conversations with you. And they're like, yeah, you must know me. And I'm like, can you show me a face, a picture? You know, can you tell me what your name is? And then once they'll tell me their name, I can usually start to piece it together. But sometimes you get into that really funny situation where you don't even know who these people are. And it's it's pretty hysterically funny because you can't place them and know where you know them from because you may not even know who these people are. So they start to come in and they start to find you and they start to circle around a little bit like sharks. And I mean, that's kind of the beauty of social media, is that you do start to get those people coming in. One of the things that I also really, really love to do in my business is almost what I refer to as a surround sound effect. So what I'm talking about is I'm posting in a few different Facebook groups, and I'm not posting in 20 groups, y'all. I'm talking 3 or 4. I pick or choose. The most important thing is I'm picking 3 or 4 really good groups, and I'm posting in them semi-consistently. And I'm interacting in those groups semi-consistently. And when I say I'm interacting, I'm not always posting. Sometimes I'm just answering other people's posts. And then what I'm doing is I'm offering to be a resource. So then what happens is I am working on interacting with people, but then I go and I meet people at networking meetings. So I am a member of a BNI group. I'm actually a vice president of my chapter. And I focus on meeting people locally that I can invite to my BNI group and be a resource there. So I have multiple networks of people that I interact and engage with over time. And the cool thing is that as that plan starts to mature a bit for people, what happens is people don't even know where they're seeing you anymore. It just seems like they're seeing you everywhere. You throw in a little bit of advertising and a little bit of a funnel, and it works like a charm because people don't even know where they've seen you, but they're like, yeah, I really know who you are. So then they're much more likely to buy from you when it comes time for you to sell them something. And that to me is what I call the surround sound effect, because they're seeing you on Facebook, they're seeing you maybe on LinkedIn, they're seeing you a little bit here, they're seeing you a little bit there, and they're seeing you locally in your networking groups. And then poof, next thing you know, they're buying from you because they're like, hey, I'm seeing you everywhere. And when you're combining that offline and online persona, it works really well because for some reason, and I think I understand some of the dynamics, when you're offline and you're meeting people face to face, you tend to make sales much faster. I can close somebody in a sale in one meeting, typically, if I'm meeting them face to face. If it is not face to face, if it is online or I'm having to do it via Zoom, it usually takes 2 or 3 or more connections for me to close a sale. Now, it's not to say that I don't follow up with people, because I do follow up with people. I follow them to the ends of the earth. True story. I used to own a senior home care agency where we did non-medical private duty home care for seniors. And we also had a Care Patrol franchise, which is helping families find assisted living, independent living, memory care. So we would talk about following up with our prospects until they told us to either buzz off or they died. And that was a thing because they did occasionally pass away. And then we were sending families condolence cards. But we would follow up with them as long as they didn't tell us to go away. Because what would happen a lot of times, and it's proven to be prophetic then, it's prophetic now, it's happened over and over again, is that, and hey, Marilyn, good to see you, is that a lot of times, and Marilyn is a perfect example of this, they may decide to go away. You know, you may meet them on the first try, and they may decide to go a different way. And that happens. Sometimes you lose a client, sometimes they toss a coin, sometimes whatever, right? But if you stay in touch with them and you're doing what you need to be doing, and it's part of your business process, and I don't always do it perfectly, but I do try to make a point of doing this in my business. Sometimes you get lucky and they come back around and they do eventually become a client. And I'm really excited to say Marilyn has got an amazing website now. But, you know, she originally went another direction and that was cool. But I just kept following up with Marilyn because she never said to go away. And I wasn't doing it to be icky, sleazy, or slimy or whatever, because I really like Marilyn as a person. And y'all can check out her website. I'm going to post her link just because, you know, it's gratuitous and it's fun to do that. Y'all check out her website. But this is a lesson in that follow up and follow through with people, even when you don't know why you're really following up with somebody, or it's not really aimed at necessarily selling them. It's those relationships that really, really happen. And now Marilyn's got a really, really cool website, and I'm so tickled pink for her. And it's a lot of fun, and that's the power of this stuff. And it was just by being social on social media and having conversations with Marilyn over and over again. And it's a thing. You follow up with people, you connect with people. There are some people that may never buy from me. That's fine. But I want to maybe be somebody that you refer to going forward. And my goal here is to be here when you are ready to do these things in your business. And you got to know me, right? And you got to know that we really do care deeply about what we do. Know, like, and trust. And it's a process. And as Marilyn says, she got to know me, and then like and trust. And we met offline, and we met in person, and we met online, and we had crazy late night conversations about all kinds of stuff. And she's been there for me for the last few years through lots of crazy in my life. So I very much appreciate Marilyn. And it's that social aspect of social media and social selling. And that's where kind of the cool stuff happens. It's where the rubber hits the road. It's where the money hits your pocket. It's where you start making money. So any hoodles, that's the social part of social selling. And when you do it right, it will make you money. And you're going to make some friends along the way. And, some people are like, well, I'm out here to take a lot of no's. Yeah, you can take a lot of no's. Lord knows I get plenty of no's, but I do it in a way that isn't icky, sleazy, or slimy, or sending people going running for the hills or reporting my Facebook profile. And that is the art. Okay, we're going to pull a card. I am going to mix the cards up for you. And I'm going to assume that Patty wants the top one. And y'all should tell me if you want a different one. And my children are going to holler at me to be quiet here shortly because they're probably going to be trying to go to bed. And I have all three of the younger ones at home right now. Younger being kind of a relative term because I'm now shorter than all of them. And my older son is laughing at me. So good evening. So let me know which card you would like for me to pull for you. And hey, Catherine, third from the top. So, okay, we have a third from the top. I'm going to guess we have a top. Second from the bottom. Okay, I'm going to pull the top because this is always Patty's. This one is Hero, which I think is perfect timing for you, Patty. Believe that you are worthy of an amazing life. You don't need to feel guilty or hold yourself back to make anyone else feel comfortable. You don't need to be timid or uncertain, worrying that you are becoming too much for someone else or asking too much from the universe. Living a great life is not about competition with anyone else. Living a great life helps inspire others to do the same. It doesn't take anything away from anyone else. If your dreams both excite and scare you, that's a good sign. Give yourself permission to go for it. Go after what you want with a happy heart. Congratulations, Patty. You had a call tonight. That is really, really cool. I am so excited for you. So I think that reading was perfect. Third from the top. 2, 3. Marilyn, this one is for you. And how interesting that you got this one is all I got to say. Mermaid Soul. Deep within, you know what excites and inspires you. Your job isn't to decide whether that inspiration is practical, realistic, or even possible. Human beings have been shown throughout history that the ideas which they once scoffed at as being ridiculous or impossible to achieve can become the realities that they rely upon and take for granted as a natural part of their daily lives not long afterwards. You too shall move from doubt to wondering how you ever lived without this passion, idea, or inspiration of yours. Let the universe show off its creative flair for the unexpected and inspirational through you. Do not give up on what truly moves and inspires your heart, for soon enough it will be part of your world. How fun is that, Marilyn? Okay, second from the bottom. 1. Oh, this is kind of funny. I always die laughing when I see some of the cards that come up because they are always very much the person they got pulled for. So Tish, this one is for you. Finch Spirit Guide. It's a good time to experiment with how best to care for your mind, body, and soul. It's not about being perfect. It's about finding what works best for you. You are in a phase of your life where giving back to yourself is important. Perhaps you have been sharing a lot of yourself with others, have come through a challenging time, or in the near future will be stepping up in a new way to share more creative energy and soul fire than ever before. All that you need to know now is that it is the right time to take extra special care of you. How fun. So I hope that those were fun for y'all. I hope they were enjoyable. I hope that y'all take care and have a fantastic evening. If you should decide and you feel so called, I encourage you guys to book a free call with me. It is a free consultation. It's not me trying to sell you anything. It actually is a good chance to get to know each other a little bit better. And you might learn a little bit more about what the crazy stuff is that I do. So y'all take care. Have a great night. And be safe. We will talk soon. Hugs, Marilyn. Hugs, everybody. Hugs, Patty and Tish. And Catherine. Everybody, thank you. And Susan and everybody else. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a great night. And Tish says, nice, I'm treating myself to the bundles this year. I am treating myself. That is amazing. You need to treat yourself to a few of those bundles. They're pretty awesome. You take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.